Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Om Shrimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Shuklam Baradharam Vishnam Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalasphटिकाकृतिम् Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Yatpadambhoruhadhyana Vidhvasta Shesha Kalmasha Vastutamupayato Yamuneyam Namamitam Yo Nityamachyuta Padambuja Yugma Rukma Vyamoha Tastaditarani Tranayamene अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. Offering my pranamams to everybody assembled here, we'll start the session on chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Geetaartha Sangraha shloka number 17. Number 18. Before that, I just want to remind you of whatever shloka we saw for chapter 13, which is Deha Swarupam Atmapti Hetur Atma Vishodhanam Bandha Hetur Vivekascha Trayodasha Udiryate. That was a summary of the 13th chapter, which talked about Prakriti, Purusha, then Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and Jnana and Nyeya. Now we go to the 14th chapter, which is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of division of the three gunas. This is a reasonably small chapter, but even though the chapter is small, it's a profound chapter. None of the chapters in the Gita, even though they are small, are less profound. Everything is a profound chapter in itself. 27 shlokas in this particular chapter. When we talk about the division of the three gunas, the Geetaartha Sangraha shloka for this particular chapter is like this, which is shloka number 18 of Geetaartha Sangraha. Gunabandha vidhatesham kartritvam tannivartanam gatitraya swamulatvam chaturdasha udiryate. I will tell it once more. गुणबन्धविधातेषां कर्तृत्वं तन्निवर्तनं गतित्रयस्वमूलत्वं चतुर्दश उदीर्यते गुणबन्धविधातेषां कर्तृत्वं तन्निवर्तनं गतित्रयस्वमूलत्वं चतुर्दश उदीर्यते. This chapter talks about the three gunas, those are the sattva, rajas and tamas. Even though we have had the names, I mean the word gunatraya, everything coming in starting from second chapter itself, it is only here that it is getting elaborated. The word sattva in English gets translated in several ways: goodness, tranquility, serenity, then balance, harmony, positive nature, peace, clarity, understanding, forgiveness, discipline, awareness. These are all some of the terms which are come under the sattva. And for rajas, we say movement, dynamism, activity, energy, excitement, passion, ambition, restlessness, haste, greed, stress. These all come under the umbrella of rajas. And for tamas, they are inertia, dullness, laziness, sloth, inactivity, negative nature, apathy, carelessness, forgetfulness, making mistakes, delusion, fear. All these come under the umbrella of the term tamas. Tamas means darkness in general, and all these come under the umbrella of tamas. Now, we look at the meaning of the shloka of the Geetaartha Sangraha. Guna bandha vidhaha. That means how the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, cause bondage, bandha, bondage to samsara, to the cycle of births and deaths. I'm getting some sound. I'll mute. If you want, you can to ask anything, you can please unmute. Gunabandha vidhaha. How the gunas bind one to samsara, sattva, rajas and tamas. Tesham kartritvam. And then the nature of these qualities being the cause for all activities of the jivatman. Because of the association with sattva, rajas, and tamas, thus the jivatman get the nature of kartrutva, that is the active doing action. Tat nivartanam, the method to eliminate the hold of these three gunas upon us, that also becomes told in the 14th chapter. Then gatitraya swamulatvam means of the sharanagati to the Bhagavan being the means for the three types of devotees. If you remember in chapter 7, Krishna told about four types of devotees, that is Artha, Jignasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. So out of that, Artha and Artharthi are clubbed into one, called as Aishwaryarthi, means they are desirous of material prosperity, material wealth. Then second one is Kaivalyarthi, that is the Artho Jignasu. Whoever is a Jignasu is called as a Kaivalyarthi, who wants Jivatma Sakshatkara. And the third one is Jnani, that is one desirous of moksha. So these three type of bhaktas, Aishwaryarthi, Kaivalyarthi, and Jnani, the means of Sharanagati to the Bhagavan being the means to attain liberation, that's what is told, are explained in the 14th chapter. In chapter 14, how the three types of gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, bind the jivatman to samsara, and how they are agents in respect of all works, and how to eliminate their hold. It also explains how the Supreme Being is the basis for all the three ends attainable by the three categories of people, Aishwaryarthi, Kaivalyarthi, and Jnani. Now, for this particular chapter, Swami Vedanta Deshikar, at least in the copy of Geetaartha Sangraha Raksha which I have, Swami Vedanta Deshikar has not given any commentary, any explanation for this particular chapter. So I have taken these, whatever I am going to show you now, are taken directly from Sri Ramanuja Bhashya, from the Ramanuja's Bhashya itself, along with some notes from Tatparya Chandrika. Now, how do the gunas bind is one question which comes. So Krishna answers this in the sloka number 5, where he says, Sattvam rajastama iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadhananti. So they bind, Mahabaho, dehe dehinam avyayam. They bind the jivatman within the body, is what he says. So evam sargadau, this is the preamble to this particular shloka from the Ramanuja Bhashya. Sargadau, prachina karma vashat, achit samsargena, devadi yonishu jatanam punah punah devadi bhavena janma hetum aha. Means those who are born during creation in Deva Adi. So there are four types of creation: Deva, Manushya, Tiryak, and Sthavara. Manushya is as a man, Tiryak is as an animal, and a Sthavara is like a plant or a shrub or a creeper, like that. So there are four types of birds. So they get born in these type of birds. Achit samsargena, they get united to Achit. Achit is inert matter. So Jada Prakriti. So all our body is all Jada Prakriti only. So somehow we have got attached to the Jada Prakriti, united with Jada Prakriti, and formed sitting in this body. Why have they come to this association with Jada Prakriti is because of Prachina Karma Vashat, because of age-old karma. And then punah devadi bhavena janma hetum aha. The cause of being born again and again as Deva, Manushya, and others is going to be told now. So Sattvam, Rajas, Tamiti, the three gunas, qualities known as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, which are related to the essential nature of Prakriti. Prakriti sambhavaha is what Krishna says. O Arjuna, dehe, one who is in the body. Deha is different from dehi. Dehi is the person sitting inside the body, and deha is the body itself, that we saw in the second chapter. Avyayam, dehinam, that self which is immutable, being of nature of consciousness, nibadhananti, bind him to the body, bind him to the adjunct of the body, is what it says. What is this adjunct? I'll tell you in the coming one or two slides. Now, we come to some more explanations from the Bhagavad Geeta Ramanuja Bhashya. Sattva rajas tamamsi trayo gunaha prakritehe swarupānubandhinaha swabhava visheshaha, which means the qualities of matter. Prakriti visheshaha, prakritehe gunaha, the qualities of jada prakriti, which are sattva, rajas, and tamas, which are related to its swarupa. Swarupa is essential nature, and swabhava visheshas, its own natural, specific natural expressions. So how do they manifest themselves? Prakashadi karyaika nirupaniyaha. So they can be known only through the respective effects such as brightness. Prakasha means luster, splendor, and so on, other activities. So Rajas expresses itself as dynamism. So Sattva expresses itself as splendor, whereas Tamas expresses itself as some dullness, laziness, and so on. So Prakriti avasthayam anudbhutaha tad vikareshu mahadadeshu udbhutaha. According to our system, the process of creation is like this. From the primordial matter, which is Mula Prakriti, comes Mahat Tattva. From Mahatattva comes Ahankara Tattva. Ahankara gets divided into three. One is Satvika Ahankara, then Rajas Ahankara, and Tamas Ahankara. These are also explained in the Bhagavata, I think, twentieth Skandha. These get explained. Dvitiya or Tritiya skandhas, and then these become the Pancha Tanmatras. The Satvika Ahankara, Rajas Ahankara, and Tamas Ahankara become Pancha Tanmatras. Tanmatras means Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda is sound, Sparsha is touch, Rupa is form or shape, Rasa is taste, and Gandha is odor or scent or smell. And then from the Pancha Tanmatras come the Pancha Bhutas, which are the Prithvi, Apas, Tejas, Vayu, Akasha, in the reverse order. First comes Akasha, and Akashat Vayuhu. From Akasha comes Vayu, the wind, and Vayu or Agnihi. From wind comes Agni, the shape or fire. So Akasha and Vayu don't have shape, whereas Agni, fire, has shape. So that's where shape comes. Then from Agni comes Apa, Agner Apaha. From fire comes water, and from water comes Prithvi, Atyaf Prithvi. So that's how it comes. And then from these come the Indriyas, the sense organs, the 10 organs, the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception, and the 5 organs of action. So that is the eyes, ears, nose, taste, tongue, and skin, and then also the organs of action are Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastha. So these come. That's how it comes. Prakriti avasthayam anudbhutaha tad vikareshu mahadadeshu udbhutaha. So they are formed by the modification of Prakriti through the process shown here, Mahat, Ahankara, and so on.
So Mahat means consciousness. What is
Mahat? Is something, I don't know the English equivalent, but Mahat Tattva is what we say. Maybe I'll look it up and tell you in the group later on. Yenam dehinam avyayam svato guna sambandha anarham dehe vartamanam nibadnanti. Means this kshetrajna, who is avyaya, who is essential nature, by which by itself cannot be subjected to association to these qualities, and one who is being present in the body, such a one, these qualities bind by virtue of the upadhi of the body. What is the meaning of this upadhi? One question will come. Upadhi is called as a limiting adjunct, they say. So for example, suppose an ordinary person is there, he's an actor in a drama. For 2 hours he has to act in a drama as a school principal. So for those 2 hours, he cannot express any behavior other than a school principal. So he cannot behave himself, show himself as an IAS officer or some policeman, or so those kind of things he cannot do. He is limited to the school principal role. Like that, the gunas bind one person and make him limited to what the guna itself is limited to. Like that. For example, if the rajas becomes predominant, it will limit him to the quality of dynamism, working extra activity, and so on. It will not make him become tranquil and peaceful like that. It will make him always into activity, whereas sattva guna also will bind him in different way. Like this, by the upadhi, this gets bound, is what is told. Now tatra 6th shloka, the 6th, 7th, and 8th tell what happens. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati. How they bind. So sattva binds by means of sukha sangena. So sattva guna binds with attachment to pleasure. In sattva is without any diseases, enlightens being defectless, enlightens the nature of substances. Now one question comes. Sattva is also of binding nature. One question comes and that gets explained here. The fact that sattva also binds is important. Generally, we say sattva should increase, right? But how it also causes bondage is told here. The word guna has a meaning of a thread or a rope. So, binding by gunas can be told. This bondage is nothing but association with the body in order to experience the fruits of the karmas done earlier. So this bondage has roots in karma. To experience karma phalas, a place is needed for jivatman, and that is the body. So sattva generates desire to acquire knowledge and experience happiness. This is told in Bhashya as Sattvam Sukhajnana Sangadvarena Purusham Badhnati. Means attachment develops towards them. We say, I want to master this subject, or I want to study grammar thoroughly, like that. One starts to get attachment, sangha, towards that. See, if that sangha or whatever is done as a sense of like a karma yoga, then it may bind lesser. But if it becomes that I am the expert in this field, I am the only person, I should be honored, I should be respected, and those kind of feelings which they come, then they certainly bind one person. If it anything done with the yajna bhava, may not bind, as told in the.
I think this is very difficult to
Mm,
overcome,
yeah.
Swami. Particularly scientists and all, they're very attached, right? So
Yeah, it is very
one can.
difficult. It's a difficult path. It's told
How do
in
you overcome this?
it's
Actually, I
told
still
in
think about
Upanishad
that.
that it is like a walking on a razor's edge. That's what it is told. Anyway,
Yeah, because other things, at least we think it's undesirable. So rajas and tamas. But when it comes to sattva
yeah,
itself has to be,
yeah,
like
yeah,
we need
yeah,
to basically the thirst for knowledge is very, very difficult, right? So
correct. I agree.
at least
Anyway, we have
for
too
intellect.
many things to do. 2 minutes. We have only 10 more minutes and too many
Okay,
things to
okay, okay,
discuss. Okay.
please.
Next, what happens to people who have sattva, rajas and tamas is what is told. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasthaha, madhye tishthanti rajasaha, jaghanya gunavirtasthaha, adho gachanti tamasaha. Means those with sattva go up, ascend, move upwards and get liberated from samsara. Those with rajas, having excess of rajoguna, will stay right in the middle, and those having excess of tamas will go downwards. How this happens, we'll see next. Evam, actually, at the time of passing, at the time of leaving the body, if sattva is predominant, what happens is comes from is told in Ramanuja Bhashya like this. Evam uktena prakarena sattvasthaha urdhvam gachanti, kramena samsara bandhat moksham gachanti. So those having sattva pronounced where sattva is pronounced at the time of death, they successively get rid of bondage of samsara and attain moksha. And those with rajasaha swargadi phala lobha karatvat. So the lobha, that is lobha means the great desire to experience the pleasures of heavens and other lokas. Phala sadhana bhutam karma anutthaya, having performed karmas which are the means to attain those kind of pleasures. Tat phalam anubhuya, having experienced all those pleasures. Punaha api janitva, having been born again in this world. Tadeva karma anutishtanti, they do the same karma again. So cycle after cycle, birth after birth, they do the same old karma. Iti madhye tishtanti, having performed such karmas, they will be positioned in the middle itself. Punaravriti rupataya dukkha prayameva tat, because Krishna tells in each chapter that dukkhalayam ashashpatam, is this world is only a ocean of dukkhalaya, means only sorrow. So they are filled with grief only, is what is told. But those with tamas is even worse, even terrible. He tells that they are born in antya varna, means like a mlecha kind of category, or they can be born as animals, worms, insects, and so on. Shrubs, creepers, or a brick or a lump of mud and grass. So whatever we see in this kind of category around us today, they were predominant in tamas at one particular point of time. Whoever, suppose people, we have dogs and cats at home, so those were all having excess of tamas at one point of time when they left the body, and that's what brought them to this particular life, is what we can make out from here. Next, then the one important thing is in this which is told is this one. What is that? How to transcend the three gunas is told. Crossing over the three gunas. Satvadin trin gunan etan atitah. A person who, Arjuna asked a question. Kairlingai strin gunaneta natito bhavati prabho. What are the characteristics of a person who has transcended all the three gunas is what Arjuna asks. So Krishna answers that in the last six shlokas of this particular chapter, and I'm showing you this the bhashya for that. So kaihi lingaihi kaihi lakshanaihi upalakshitah bhavati. By what signs, means distinguishing characteristics, does that person get identified? A person who has crossed over the three gunas. Kim acharaha kena acharena yuktaha asau. What is the conduct? What is his daily activity? What he does? Asya स्वरूपावगतेः linga bhutacharah kidrisha ityartha. That means what is the conduct from which his essential nature is known. Katham cha etan kena upayena satvadin gunan ativartate. By what means does he transcend the three sattva and other three gunas, sattva and other two gunas? That is the question. And Krishna answers in 6 shlokas. I can show you only one or two shlokas in the remaining 7-8 minutes. So I will tell 1 or 2 shlokas only. The characteristics of a person who has transcended the three gunas are here. Sama dukkha sukhaha means one who has equanimity of mind, being undisturbed in respect of happiness and sorrows. Swastha, firmly established in the Atman. Samaloštashma Kanchana, this is very important. So Kanchana, we know, is gold. Loshta Ashma is, Loshta means a lump of mud, and stone, Ashma, clay or stone. So a lump of mud, a stone, and an ingot of gold. All of them are the same, has equal disposition towards a lump of mud, stone, and gold. Samaloštashma Kanchana. This thing comes even in 6th chapter. Krishna tells us in 6th chapter also, in the Dhyana Yoga chapter. So Samaloštashma Kanchana is a very important thing. And we can see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he has been a Samaloštashma Kanchana. Can see from the incidents in his life. Tulya Priya Priyaha, treats good and bad equally. Dhiraha, understand discrimination between body and self. That means dhira means he does not have the dehatma bhrama. We are all having the dehatma bhrama. We have the think that the body, I am the body. We think, no. So whereas the body is different from the atman, we don't have that kind of thought at all. So dehatma bhrama is there. So the person who is gunatita will not have dehatma bhrama. Tulya nindatma samstuti. He is equally disposed towards abuse and praise of himself. Manapamanayoho tulyaha. Treats equally honor and dishonor. Tulya mitari pakshayoho. Is equally disposed towards those who are friends and enemies. Sarvarambha parityagi. Has abandoned starting of all actions related to samsara. Gunatita sauchyate. That's what is a gunatita. So these are 2 shlokas from there. We'll see the bhashya by Yamunacharya. Sama dukkha sukha dukkha yoha samachittaha. Same towards happiness and sorrow, means has equanimity of mind towards happiness and grief. Swastha means swasmin sthitaha. Sva atma eka priyatvena tad vyatirikta putradi janma maranadi sukha dukkhayoh samachittaha ityartha. Swastha means swasmin sthitaha, is established in his own self, and as that is the most dear thing to him, and he is equally disposed to birth and death of near and dear relatives like son, etc. If something happens, he does not get into grief. That's the swastha. Tata eva samaloštashma kanchanaha. For that reason, he treats a lump of mud, a stone, and gold as equal. Tata eva cha tulya priya priyaha. Tulya priya priya vishayaha. And for that reason, he treats likes and dislikes equally. He treats objects dear to him and those which are not liked equally. Then dhiraha, prakriti atma viveka kushalaha, means understands well the discrimination between prakriti and atma, like kshetra and kshetrajna, as we saw. Tata eva tulya ninda atma samstutihi. At atmani manushyatwadi abhimanakrita guna nimitta स्तुति निंदयोः स्व संबंध अनुसंधानेन तुल्य चित्तः. Means because of the discriminatory knowledge that I am not the body, he is equally disposed towards praise or abuse. which means he understands that praise or disrespect towards self happen due to good and bad qualities, which are due to identifying self with the bodies, such as human, deva, tiryak, manusha, sthavara, as we saw. तत्प्रयुक्त मानापमानयोः तत्प्रयुक्त मित्रादिपक्षयोः अपि स्वसंबंध अभावात् एव तुल्यचित्तः. There would be dishonor and honor and dishonor arising to the same misconception of the body as the Atman, and due to that there will be friends and enemies. See, all the relationships which we have are because of body only. In the reality with Atman, there are no relationships at all. The only relationship which we have is with the Paramatman, not with the other Jivatmans, is what sometimes we say. He would be equally disposed with the understanding that they are not related to the nature of the Atman. Tatha deha dehitva prayokta sarvarambha parityagi. In the same way, one who has abandoned engaging in all activities which come on account of being associated with the body. Evam bhuta gunatitah uchyate. He is said to be crossed over the gunas. And there's one important thing which comes towards the last but one shloka. Manchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate is what Krishna says. Avyabhicharena bhakti yogena is what he says. Mam. What kind of supreme being? He is satya sankalpam, paramakarunikam, ashtrita vatsalya jaladhim. Mam means me, who is Paramatman, or who is the Paramatman of true willing, Satya Sankalpa, endowed with supreme compassion, Paramakarudikam, and Ashrita Vatsalya Jaladhi, means he is an ocean of love for those who have taken resort in Paramatman. In that kind of a Paramatman, Avyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena, means Eka Aikantika Vishishtena. Aikantika or Paramaikantika is also they say. Parama means single pointed, unswerving devotion in Paramatman. Like what Prahlada had. You put me in the middle of snakes, you throw me from the top of the mountain, you give poison, whatever you give, my bhakti towards you will not go. That kind of bhakti which Prahlada had was this one. What is that? Paramaikantika bhakti is what is told. Avyabhicharini bhakti is what it is called. Bhakti Yoga worships me through Bhakti Yoga with such a steadfast mind. See, most of us will not have such a steadfast mind at all compared to what Prahlada has. Prahlada was the epitome of all these kind of things. Avyabhicharini bhakti. Saha etan sattvadin gunan duratyayan atitya. For such a one, having crossed over the three sattva, rajas and tamo gunas, which are impossible to cross over, brahmabhuyaya kalpate is what it says. Brahmatvaya kalpate means becomes eligible for the Brahma Bhava, means he becomes eligible for attaining the Brahma Sakshatkara. That means he realizes the self, who is of the nature of Amrita and Avyaya, immutable and eternal nature as it exists. So we come once again to the shloka which Swami Yamunacharya has written. Before that, I think sometime in one of the earlier lectures, I have told you a short story about what Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has told about the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamo gunas, which I have just shown here from the Ramakrishna Mission Pune website, taken the screenshot. So there is a person crossing the forest. And then he has a bunch of money. He has a bag of coins with him, and it's getting evening time, and he's running fast. And then he gets he sees three robbers come and attack him. So the first robber, what he does is he binds him to the tree and says, "Kill him." No. The first robber says, "Kill this person." And the second robber says, "No, we'll not kill this person. We'll bind him to a tree." And they take the rope and bind him to the tree. And then the first two robbers then go away. The third robber stays back and says that he removes the clutches of all the knots of the rope, and then he takes him to towards the other side of the forest and shows him the highway. And you go in that road and you will get the village, is what he says. So the first robber, who says kill this person, is tamoguna. It will cause laziness in the person. The second robber, which says bind him to the tree, is Rajoguna, which binds him to the world, make him do all the activities for this world. That is Rajoguna. And the third robber, who shows the way to the village, to this destination, is Satvaguna. And Satvaguna takes him to the path and shows him the path to go to his village. But Satvaguna also cannot come there, is what it says. The story says that this person asks the third robber to come accompany him to the village. And the robber says, I am a robber. If I come there, the policeman will catch me, so I cannot come, he says. So Satvaguna cannot come to the Brahman. It can only lead us to the way. So that's the story which Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has told. Now we go to this shloka. Gunabandha vidhatesham kartritvam tannivartanam gatitrayasva moolatvam chaturdasha udiryate. I think we have crossed the time limit, so I will stop the recording at this part of time, and then we'll do the chanting of the shlokas of the 18th chapter. We'll just stop the recording. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguram Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Thank you.